Have you ever seen a young student just freeze? The ideas are swirling around in their head, but they get stuck in that huge gap between thinking something and writing it down. Well, today, we're going to talk about a simple, total, game-changing framework to build a bridge across that gap. And it all comes down to 3 simple words.
Oh man, every teacher knows this moment. You've just pulled off an amazing lesson. You used the puppets, the funny voices, the kids were totally with you. And you say, okay, go ahead and write down your answer. And then, crickets. It's not chaos, it's almost worse. It's this academic paralysis. 20 little kids just staring at a blank page, pencils hovering. We call this the frozen face problem.
So, what's actually going on behind that frozen face? It's so easy to jump to the conclusion that they just don't get it, that they don't know the content. But what if that's not the problem at all? What if it's really an initiation gap? They just have absolutely no idea how to start.
And this right here is the key insight. We're not usually dealing with a knowledge gap. Trust me, the ideas are in there. The real issue is an organization gap. Our students, especially the little ones, don't have a mental traffic system to get all those jumbled thoughts out of their heads and onto the paper in a way that makes sense. They're just totally overwhelmed by the process.
So let's put a name to it. We're talking about an initiation gap. It's that moment of paralysis when a child has all the right thoughts, but they just don't have the architecture, the structure to get them out onto the page.
Okay, so if the problem is a missing mental traffic system, well, the solution is pretty straightforward, right? We have to give them one. We need to give them a simple, predictable, step-by-step structure for their thinking. And that's exactly what Tell, Find, Show does.
Now, this isn't just some cutesy classroom catchphrase we made up. Tell, Find, Show is actually a direct, kid-friendly translation of the gold standard in critical thinking, C.E.R., which stands for Claim, Evidence, Reasoning. We're taking this really sophisticated model and making it totally accessible for a 5-year-old. And the best part, it's not another program you have to buy. It's just a way of thinking.
The whole framework boils down to these 3 super simple, color-coded steps. You tell what you think, that's your claim. You find your proof, that's your evidence. And you show how you know, that's your reasoning. This simple little roadmap gives students a clear path to follow every single time.
Let's break it down. First up, we have red. Tell. This is the claim. And just like a traffic light, red means stop. It's this great little signal to just pause for a second, check your brain, and state your main idea. What do you think the answer is? It forces them to focus before they go any further.
Next, the light turns green, and green means go. This is the find step, and it's all about evidence. That magnifying glass icon is perfect, right? It tells students, okay, time to be a detective. They go hunt for the proof in the text, or in the picture, or in the math problem. The question totally shifts from what do I think to what can I see?
And finally, we get to yellow. Yellow means slow down. This is the show step, the reasoning. And honestly, this is the biggest cognitive lift. The pencil icon cues them to connect the dots, to explain how their evidence actually proves their claim. It's that all-important because that ties the whole thing together.
Okay, so the framework sounds great, but here's the million-dollar question. How in the world do we get a 5-year-old who's still figuring out how to hold a pencil to actually do all this? Well, the magic is all in the scaffolding.
Rule number 1, and this is non-negotiable. They have to say it before they can write it. For a young kid, the physical act of writing takes up so much brain space, so we start with talking and drawing. Using a strategy like Talk Your Drawing lets them rehearse their ideas out loud, organizing their thoughts without any of the pressure of forming letters.
We also give them concrete tools, like this simple 4-box organizer. This makes the entire thinking process visible. A student can literally see the structure. They draw or write their tell in the red box, their find in the green box, and their show in the yellow. It gives their ideas a place to live.
And then we give them the keys to the kingdom, the language of scholarship itself. We start with simple sentence stems like I think or I see. This totally removes the panic of staring at a blank line. They act like a launch pad, so students can focus all their brain power on the logic. And as they grow, the stems grow right along with them, from a shy I think to a confident my answer is.
So you see, when we use this framework over and over, we're doing something so much bigger than just getting a worksheet filled out. We're actually fundamentally changing how our students approach problems.
Let's be really clear about what's happening here.
We are teaching 5-year-olds to think like scientists who form a hypothesis. We're teaching them to argue like lawyers building a case. We are giving them the tools for critical thinking from day one, building a foundational skill that is going to serve them for the rest of their lives.
And this is the result. This is the payoff. We take that student who is just paralyzed by the blank page, that frozen face, and we give them a clear process. That process builds competence, and you know what competence builds? Confidence. We're not just fixing a problem, we're empowering them with a voice.
I just want to leave you with this final thought. We live in a world that is just saturated with claims, but often starved of actual evidence. So, what if we could change that? What happens if we raise an entire generation that, from the age of 5, is hardwired to believe you can't just make a claim without reaching for your magnifying glass? That is the real power of tell, find, show.